Hello everybody and welcome here to the lab presented by Rio Grande Credit Union. These two teams are no strangers to each other. However, it is the first meeting of this season for New Mexico United and RGV Toros. Pre-game coming up in just a moment. The 2022 New Mexico United season is presented by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. Chris, this match originally supposed to be played on this date 2 weeks ago. Inclement weather forcing that game to be postponed here to tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you know, haven't played obviously since last season, first meeting of the season, but they're going to be very familiar by the end of this week.
Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's players to watch, brought to you by NM Solar Group. We're going to start off here first with the home side, and Chris, we're going to be keeping an eye on midfielder Justin Portillo for the black and yellow. He started every match this season. You talk about being a catalyst for this team. He's got 4 goals on this season. He leads the club in assists, and he also leads United with 40 chances created.
Yeah, it makes things tick in the midfield. Really important role in there, especially with the lineup tonight, as we'll get to. And obviously, his set-piece delivery, impeccable.
And you talk about impeccable set-piece delivery. On the other side for RGV, our player to watch tonight, no stranger to New Mexico United fans. It's midfielder Chelo Martinez. He's back with RGV for his second stint. He has a team-leading 5 assists for the Toros and 31 chances created this year. As we mentioned, he played for the black and yellow last season, where he made 30 appearances, scoring 1 goal.
Yeah, is there anything more dangerous than a player with a point to prove? And I'm sure that's been on the minds of New Mexico United this week in preparation for these games.
We're going to step aside for just a moment. We'll be back on the other side of this with lineups and kickoff.
The July 4th sale at American Home Furniture and Mattress has been extended. The more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend on the largest selection of furniture and mattresses in New Mexico. Shop hot buys and inflation busters throughout the stores or online at AmericanHome.com. Hurry in, sale ends Sunday.
You always get the best for less at American Home Furniture and Mattress.
Straight down into the core of the earth, 700 feet beneath the surface, stalagmites and stalactites, million-year-old all-stars in a natural stadium, carved by water, populated by bats, and marveled by all. Carlsbad Caverns National Park.
Game time.
Back here at the lab, expecting about 9,000 on hand here tonight for some Wednesday night USL Championship action. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here. Now let's go ahead and jump in, Chris, to our starting 11s here as New Mexico. This is how Zach Prince is selecting his team tonight. And of course, between the sticks, it's going to be the Greek goalkeeper, Alex Tambakis. We see a few changes here tonight. Looks like we're going to be expecting a back three of Austin Yearwood, Will Seymour, Alexi Sawahi. Expect to see Suggs and Bruce on the wings, Rivas and Portillo on the midfield, Christian Nava up top alongside Preston and Jerome Kiesewetter. On the other side for Wilmer Cabrera, making his 4th appearance on the season. He's already got 2 clean sheets to his name. Goalkeeper Javi Garcia. We're going to see a back 3 here tonight. Only 1 change for Wilmer Cabrera, Chris. Robert Coronado getting the start.
Yeah, Ruiz dropping to the bench after the last 0-0 tie with El Paso, so just 1 change. So a pretty settled team. A few surprises for New Mexico United. Obviously, picking up some injuries, it sounds like, leading into these games here, but it'd be really interesting to see how they set up from the start here.
These are our keys to the game, brought to you by Garcia Automotive Group. Shut down attacking play from the wings, attack down the flanks and expose the fullbacks, and restart the momentum after losing the recent winning streak. Sounds simple enough, right, Chris? And this is your injury report brought to you by Ben Sherman Law. Injured at work? Ben Sherman can help. All 4 players listed with lower body injuries. It's Amando Moreno, Devin Sandoval, Harry Swartz, and Chris Weehan. So from what we can tell here, New Mexico perhaps might be missing a little bit of firepower with Swartz and Weehan on the bench, and don't even want to get into what Amando Moreno is going to bring, once upon his imminent return from his ACL tear, which from what we understand from head coach Zach Prince, it should be relatively soon. So we'll wait to see on that. But as of right now, it looks like kickoff coming up here. This is the 7th meeting in history. These 2 teams playing here at the Lab twice last year. That was resulting in 1 win for United, 1 draw. RGV winning both matches at HEB Park. And we are underway here. It is a hot summer evening in Albuquerque. Temperatures around the high 80s here at kickoff. So some unusual circumstances leading to this game being played tonight, Chris, is, as we touched on at the top of the broadcast, this game was originally supposed to be played 2 weeks ago to the date. However, inclement weather prohibited a safe field conversion here at the Lab, so had to push things back, and now RGV looking at perhaps an extended vacation up here in Albuquerque for the week?
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario, right, where obviously you don't play each other for a year, basically, and then 2 games in the space of 4 days. So, Zach Prince was asked about this at the end of the Birmingham Legion, obviously a pretty emotional press conference afterwards. Some pretty... there was obviously some words said, let's say. You could tell there was words said down in the dressing room before he came up there. And yeah, saying, each game as it comes, which, you would expect any manager worth his salt to say that, but it's such an odd scenario to be playing exactly the same team. And for RGV, I mean, makes sense for them to just stay in town, train, so it's just a really odd set of circumstances.
RGV making the trip up from Edinburgh, Texas. They played exactly a week ago where they played 90 scoreless minutes with El Paso. They did hold a 2-man advantage for about the last 15 minutes of that game, plus stoppage due to an injury and also a red card for El Paso. That is Yuma that was red carded. And
shocking.
Unfortunately for RGV, they were unable to find the back of the net. And that game ended 0-0. So a full week of rest for the Toros. Meanwhile, United coming off a 1-1 draw at Monterey Bay on the weekend, where that match, they conceded about 1 minute and 45 seconds in.
Yeah, it was a brutal start to the game, obviously, watching that from home, and a terrible, terrible start to the game. But probably for the remainder of the game, would think they probably did enough to actually go on and win the game. Obviously got a tie. A tie on the road is never a bad result. The circumstances make it probably feel a little bit of a worse result, though.
It was somewhat of a rotated squad for Zach Prince's New Mexico United side, is kind of what we're seeing here tonight. This ball goes into Kiesewetter and gets away from him there.
Obviously, on Saturday, we were talking on text, right, trying to work out, whether it was squad rotation based on the injuries tonight. It'd say, maybe, like Chris Weehan, for instance, started on the bench. That was a huge surprise to us. Maybe he was already, we're speculating, but maybe he was already carrying a little knock and it's been aggravated since then. But yeah, I mean, the injury list obviously grew a lot since the last time that we spoke.
As Preston gets that one in, and Rivas, his shot is blocked.
But it couldn't be at a worse time. Obviously, the fixture pileup that's coming over the next month here is insane.
We're going to be here. This is the P&M Coaches Spotlight. This is on Zach Prince, head coach for New Mexico United in his first season. 162 appearances as a player for Charleston Battery. Won the USL Championship there as well. His side have only conceded 13 goals this season, the fewest in the USL Championship, Chris. So a good defensive record. However, at times, goals a little hard to come by. This is our first Bank of America corner kick of the evening. Portillo sends this one back post, and that one's headed away in front of Preston Tabordataka. And as I was mentioning, goals sometimes drying up here.
Yeah, a little bit there, but you could see as the spotlight was on Zach Prince, he was talking about the ball, and that's twice where Preston has peeled off into that wide right channel and looked for the ball down the line, and it's worked twice. You know, he was able to pick out Sergio Rivas there, who just had the shot deflected, so interesting to see if that's a trend that continues throughout the game.
So while we've got a minute, celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's Choice, Player's Choice. So another corner kick coming up here for New Mexico. And I'm sure United fans just itching to see a goal here, Chris. Last time we were here at the lab a couple of weeks ago now, I guess, against Birmingham. New Mexico went scoreless that night. They were shut out 2-0 in their first meeting against Legion.
Yeah, and it's not even just that, right? It's not just that it was, 2-0, obviously very disappointing. Birmingham Legion absolutely, executed their game plan perfectly. It was the performance, and players have come out on social media since then, interviews, Zach Prince obviously after the game as well, and everyone just held their hands up, which is great, and just said it wasn't good enough. And it was, you expect during a long season that there may be nights like that. There was just too many people had off nights, and there was just too many players for New Mexico United who just did not have good games.
And since that night, we saw Zach Prince make some substitutions during the flow of the game. Saw a couple of players give the ball on the way in the midfield and immediately were pulled out. Sam Hamilton being one of them. Haven't seen him back in the side since. Not on the injury report. Don't want to really speculate, but I believe he's on the bench here tonight. So perhaps late cameo appearance in the second half. Also, you talk about this bench for Zach Prince here tonight, Chris. You see Nico Brett, Sam Hamilton, Rashid Tete. These guys are three usual starters for the black and yellow. You've also got Micah Zira, who's the veteran, obviously, and then you've got Radio Vuka and Carl St. T, the two youngsters. So good mix of options there for Prince on the bench.
Yeah, and in the starting lineup, you've got to say that there's some guys who want to prove a point. We already mentioned Kisaveta. I'd say Preston probably thinks that maybe he should have had a few more starts than what he's maybe had. Josh Suggs, great to see him back in the starting lineup as well. Started off the game on Saturday, was a little rusty, but you could expect that. He'd been out for so long with injuries, and again, great to see him back. But Suwahi at the back, opportunity for him with Kalen Ryden being out of the lineup as well. Opportunity for him to try and stake a claim for a starting spot.
This is the P&M Coaches Spotlight. This is Wilmer Cabrera, the legend himself. This is his second stint as Rio Grande Valley's head coach. He had 48 appearances as a player with the Colombian national team and also managed Houston Dynamo of MLS from 2016 to 2019. Yeah, Chris, you were talking about Suwahi coming back into this one. He's just getting his fifth start on the season, just his seventh appearance. This is a player that we saw feature quite a bit early on in the season. Obviously, there were some injuries and whatnot starting the season where he was called into action, but he's been rather solid when he does play.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And obviously, he's a big boy, right? Like he's built like a centre back. And New Mexico United, they've changed between a back three and a back four. The Birmingham game was a back four, back three tonight with Yearwood, Seymour and Swahi back there, and I think it suits them, especially with Daniel Bruce. Daniel Bruce came on against Birmingham Legion and was playing as a out-and-out right back, and that really doesn't necessarily suit his game. He wants to stretch his legs, he wants to get forward, and as a wing back in a back five or a back three, whatever you want to call it, it just allows him that little bit more freedom to get forward.
This ball goes ahead to Kiesewetter. He chases it down and eventually goes into one of the field signs. Kiesewetter, this is a player that hasn't gotten a whole lot of time either for Zach Prince. He actually got a red card in his last time out against Orange County. But as you said, a player with a lot of pedigree. This is a player who had a stellar 2019 with El Paso. Since then, he's bounced around a little bit. Made the move to Inter Miami. Didn't work out there. Went out to FC Tulsa now. Here with New Mexico as he was acquired in the first trade in club history as New Mexico sent Brian Brown the other way. But, you know, as you spoke about Kiesewetter, I'm sure just hoping to find some sort of form.
Yeah, and like every single player, you know, like in public, you know, great for the team, support the team, blah, blah. Every single player wants to play. Simple fact, whether they're injured, you know, out of the team, find themselves out of the team for whatever reason, he will want to get more minutes than what he's getting right now. Same as what we mentioned about Cello last season, right? Like he was in and out of the team. I'm sure he probably felt like he should have been in the team more than out. Has a point to prove tonight. And that's a positive for New Mexico United. I think Kiesewetter, if he could do, you know, have a good game tonight, there's a spot there to be had, you know. And again, you know, coming back to the injuries, New Mexico United went through that little dry spell earlier on this season, and that was when the injuries were starting to mount up. Obviously, that's kind of trickled back in again, seeing the injury report tonight as well. You know, and again, it couldn't have come at a worse time. Like, you know, Saturday, Wednesday. It's a busy month for New Mexico United.
That foul was called on Preston Taborda-Taka, so this was a Fiesta Auto Group free kick. It's going to be a throw in here for New Mexico United. So while we've got a second, this 529 game update is brought to you by the Education Plan, New Mexico's state-sponsored 529 plan. Give your kids a brighter and better future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. Ball bouncing around the midfield. Chelo Martinez gets this one ahead. Through ball, looking for Icaza. Icaza chases this down. Plays it back. Ball goes in, and that one is over the head of everyone as Josh Suggs will chase it down for a throw-in. That was Gaviria at the back post that was looking to make some contact there. Gaviria out of Colombia. He's got one start on this season. Ball comes far side. That's Ricketts. Ricketts plays the cross in, and it's headed away by Seymour. It's going to be a Bank of America corner kick coming up here for RGV. With over 4,600 locations, convenient banking is just around the corner. The corner kick here. This is Torres set to deliver. Torres sends this one near post, and Sawahi makes contact, still in the box. It goes out, and it's going to be a goal kick here for New Mexico.
It was well defended there by Sawahi. Front post, always a dangerous delivery when it comes in at the front post. If the attacking team's able to get a little flick onto it, it can cause absolute carnage in there. But got first contact, and then strong enough to hold off the challenges from the RGV players there. Mexico United just playing themselves into a little bit of trouble there from the goal kick. Tambacas playing out to Seymour and trying to play out, and it wasn't really the space to do it. And obviously thinking back again to the Birmingham Legion game, and one of the issues we noted while watching the game, and it was mentioned after the game as well, was how much of the ball the centre-backs had versus the playmakers of the team. We talked in pre-game about the importance of Portillo. Portillo needs to find the ball. He needs to find the ball early in the game here and start dictating the tempo from the off.
Ball gets played back to Garcia. Akwe was there as well. This is Javi Garcia. He's got 2 clean sheets in his 3 appearances so far for the Toros. Conceded twice in his debut, but Cabrera decided to stick with him. A native of the Rio Grande Valley, went to UTRGV, played at Juarez Lincoln High School. This is Chelo Martinez.
You can understand why Cabrera is stuck with the same defensive unit, goalkeeper in the back 4, unchanged after, again, obviously you already mentioned about how it was last 10 minutes El Paso were down to 10 men, but a clean sheet is a clean sheet, and it's really hard to break up a successful defensive unit.
Torres spreads this one. Back in the midfield, this is Chelo Martinez. Martinez, for New Mexico last year, created 36 chances. Was 3rd best on the team. So while he didn't get a whole lot of playing time, as you mentioned, Chris, was very creative. Was quite the catalyst when he did. This is Preston Tabordataka, and Preston unleashes this one, and it goes sailing over the crossbar.
See, he kind of ran out of options there. He was always trying to work it onto his right foot. He would have probably preferred if he was able to catch just a little bit closer. It was about 25, 30 yards out there. You could see he was trying to work it and just sailed away on him, but there wasn't a whole lot in terms of movement ahead of the ball. Quisabeta was pretty close to him. And it was such a fast break, on the counter-attack there after winning the ball. There wasn't a whole lot of support from his fellow teammates there.
The foul, looks like it's going to be called against Seymour there as Icaza goes to ground. This is going to be a Fiesta Auto Group free kick. The foul is called against Icaza, my apologies. Not against Seymour. This is Will Seymour, the Colorado Springs native. Started 14 games so far this season. Tonight is his 15th. Leads the team with 52 clearances. Goes right back to Seymour. Playing in that central role of the back 3 here tonight for Zach Prince. Back 3, back 5, whatever you want to call it. Goes back to Alex Tambakis. Tambakis, 3 clean sheets on the season. That's good enough to be tied for 11th in the championship as Ricketts pokes this one away, and Rivas is going to be called for the foul. Helping hand there from Rivas to Jonathan Ricketts. And we've got another Fiesta Auto Group free kick.
It's a pretty scrappy game right now. Neither team really able to stamp their authority. Once again, New Mexico United really struggling to get Rivas, Nava, Portillo, 3 centre mids there, really struggling to get those guys in the game. I can't remember Christian Nava actually touching the ball yet. So, again, is this a scouting report that all these teams coming to the lab are looking at how New Mexico United play and just taking away the middle of the field and need to find a way? And, you're saying, is it a back 3, is it a back 5? It really is a back 5 right now, because really struggling to get Bruce and Suggs higher up the field as well.
One glaring absence on the wing for New Mexico. Harry Swartz, as we mentioned in the pregame, out with an injury tonight, as we can actually see him a few boxes over here up on our suite level here at the lab. In the box with all the inactive United players here tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately that box has got a little busier again. I remember earlier on in the season we spoke off air about how busy that box was, and it's a little fuller than what we'd probably like at this time of the season.
Far side, this ball played up. Sawahi shuts that one down. Ball played from the midfield by Cabezas. Looking for Martinez. Yearwood chases him down. Suggs there to help as well, and they're able to win the throw-in for New Mexico. Sure, that wasn't the first time that Yearwood and Suggs have closed down Chelo Martinez on a double team. Sure, they had plenty of fun in those training sessions last season. That's Torres. Torres has a lot of experience with the U.S. men's national team, the 2013 Gold Cup winner. Also started and appeared at one of the World Cup games versus Slovenia at the 2010 World Cup. You talk about pedigree. Jose Torres, 261 league appearances in Liga MX, 26 caps for the U.S. men's national team. Now plying his trade in USL Championship. Of course, New Mexico fans perhaps remember that name from last season where he played with Colorado Springs Switchbacks, now with RGV. But this is a player who he hasn't really lost it, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it's just the testament to the league, the caliber of the players that are playing and plying their trade in the USL Championship is, it's improved over the years. There's no denying that. It's clear, and it's the same as the MLS as well, right? There's the standard of players just again playing within the United States is improving.
Magic minute here at the Lab. And I got to say, for this being a Wednesday night, Chris, crowd filling in very nicely.
I was texting it. Traffic was brutal today as well. So, I mentioned it earlier about how it seemed a little empty, but it was well before kickoff. And yeah, it certainly has. It's filled in really nicely.
This is Preston, gets a shot off, and it goes straight to Garcia. One here from Daniel Bruce back to Alexi Sawahi. Sawahi just plays this one out. So while we've got a second, the playoff battle is beginning to heat up as two playoff hopefuls meet on ESPN Deportes. We're seeing one of them here tonight. RGV will be welcoming Las Vegas Lights FC to Southern Texas next Sunday. That's July 17th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Deportes. Kiesewetter goes to ground. The foul is going to be called, and a free kick coming up here for New Mexico as Bruce was maybe looking to take that quickly. Pimentel said no siree.
It was great strength by Kiesewetter. Maybe could have been adjudged to a foul. I can't see from our vantage point who it was over on the near side here. But yeah, and then comes inside, just shows great strength there and just draws the foul. Probably knew he was running into a little cul-de-sac there. As you saw Daniel Bruce just sniffing around, waiting to see if he could get a quick free kick off there. But RGV alive to the situation, but a great opportunity for our set-piece specialist, Mr. Portillo here.
Justin Portillo, as we mentioned, 4 goals, 3 assists in 15 starts this season. The 2019 USL champion with Real Monarchs. Here's Portillo, right-footed strike, and it's immediately headed away by the wall. So Bank of America corner kick coming up here for New Mexico.
I'm not sure if that was Chelo Martinez was being utilized as the draft excluder underneath the wall just in case Portillo decided to try and sneak one under the wall there. It's not often you see one of those at the Lab.
Draft excluder, that's the first time I've heard that description. That's great.
I stole it from a well-known podcast that we may have mentioned on the last broadcast.
Bank of America corner kick comes in and it's headed away there. It was Gaviria. Daniel Bruce plays this forward once again, finds the captain Suggs. Bouncing around, Rivas off the volley, and he sends it over the crossbar. Sergio Rivas looking for his third goal of the season.
Sergio Rivas with a little more, maybe a little more awareness or communication from his teammates. He had a little more time than what he probably thought. Right at the top of the box, he completely got himself wide open there. And yeah, just snatched at the chance a little bit. Probably had enough time to take another touch. Easy to say from up here, obviously, but in hindsight, probably had enough time to take a touch there.
Mueller plays this one back as we've got a score update up in the top right corner of your screen. Legion and Atlanta United 2 in a shootout. A 6-goal shootout tied 3-3 in the 96th minute. And Legion, who were up there with New Mexico in terms of goals conceded, perhaps you see a little bit of a dent on that record, giving up 3 here this evening. As Rivas was making the run. That one cut out. Falls here in the midfield. Poke forward. This is Coronado. Cabezas over to Ricketts. He's got Martinez in front of him. Goes back to Cabezas. Going down on top of the box. That was Coronado, and it's just outside. As Coronado's still on the ground and getting a nice welcome here to the lab by all the fans. A nice round of Pobrecito.
I think he knew, Coronado knew how close he was to being in the 18-yard box, so it took a little leap of faith there to try and sell it, but Sergio Rivas dangled a leg and got very lucky that it was just, and it was just, we're in the perfect vantage point from our position here. It was just outside the 18-yard box, but a very, very dangerous free kick upcoming here.
Just outside the box. Martinez, Torres. I believe that's also Icaza, as Icaza now is going to leave. So Torres and Martinez both standing over this one. It's a 5-man wall for New Mexico. Martinez takes a jab step at it, and it's Torres. And he skies that one into the curse.
It's amazing how many players bit on that. I was always thinking it favours the left foot of Torres there, but Chelo Martinez, took a little stutter step at it and got a bunch of New Mexico United players and RGV players to bite, thinking that he was maybe going to take it there. But yeah, again, it always favoured him. When you're that close to the goal, it has to be a shot on target, and Torres will be disappointed with his quality that he didn't at least test Tambakis.
Torres, as I said, played with Switchbacks last year, made 26 appearances, scored once. Spent his youth career with Pachuca from 2003 to 06. And as I mentioned earlier, had a ton of appearances for Pachuca and also Tigres in Liga MX, as Kiesewetter goes to ground, and it's Jerome Kiesewetter on your screen.
So it was just a little hairy moment there. The ball just kind of held up. I don't know if it was in a little, it's not windy, so it wasn't held up in the breeze, but it just didn't quite carry as quickly as they thought then. A little miscommunication between centre-back and goalkeeper there, and Kiesewetter using his experience, sniffing around, seeing if there was an opportunity there, and got a nice shoulder in his back for his trouble.
And Kiesewetter looks to be okay, which you look over at the New Mexico sideline, nobody warming up, so obviously not that big of a concern there for Zach Prince and his side. Ricketts gets this one into Cabezas. Now Ricketts plays this forward, looking for Gaviria. Seymour is on it, and Gaviria fouls Seymour. Second time Seymour's been fouled in nearly the same exact spot, Chris.
Yeah, that was pretty, that was a silly foul, because clearly Seymour was in a little bit of trouble there, facing his own goal. And I think it was Gaviria last time as well who did the same. It's kind of, and you say when you're teaching the game, like, don't let people get out of jail for free, right? And that's a complete let-off, because Seymour really was struggling for options there. He was probably going to have to try and play a risky pass back to Tambakis to get out. And, the free kick gets them out of trouble, or should have got them out of trouble.
Gaviria, the 21-year-old out of Colombia. It's his first season with RGV. Previously played with NK Spansko, which is the Croatian third league. Covered a little bit of distance to get to the RGV. Gaviria, as we mentioned, 2 appearances, made his first start last week. Had 3 shots, 1 shot on target against Locomotive, and now a little bit of extracurriculars down on the field.
I knew you were going to say that before you knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you see Portillo just won a great tackle. I don't know if it was a rough rush of adrenaline or he's frustrated, with the way the game's going, because again the midfield's not really having a big say for New Mexico United right now, and that was a cynical foul and stood over him as well and kind of had a little nibble afterwards as well. So and then Preston got involved. So yeah, little, like you say, extracurriculars.
This one goes back to Akwe. Akwe playing this one forward, looking for Coronado. Gaviria went in there recklessly, and he's going to be called for the foul again. 2 fouls over the past 3 minutes on Gaviria as he and Seymour shake hands. No hard feelings there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was with the tackle that Portillo just did in mind. From our vantage point, you could see he only had eyes for Seymour there. Wasn't really looking at the ball, just knew he was going to challenge and leave one on there, basically. So, yeah, lucky, especially with how close his 2 fouls were as well. So it's getting a little niggly out there. That's the most descriptive word ever. I can see you giggling. That's the most descriptive word.
That was brilliant. I like that. Throw in here for RGV. It's Ricketts. Ricketts out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Previously with Chattanooga Red Wolves over the last 2 seasons. Scored 4 goals in 44 appearances. Was nominated for the USL League One Team of the Week 5 times last season. There's Ricketts again, sticking a boot through that one and sending it long. Made his professional debut on nearly 2 years ago to the date. It was July 25th, 2020 against South Georgia Tormenta FC. It was a 2-2 draw in League One. Prior to his time with Chattanooga, spent some time with Dalton Red Wolves in USL League 2, where he scored 3 times in 13 appearances. Cabezas heads that one away, and Ikaza kept that one in. It looked pretty close from our vantage point, I will say. Foul going to be called on Christian Nava.
I think it was actually Sawahi. He just reached around, like the touch by Coronado just kind of tempted him a little too much, because the touch just got away from Coronado just a little bit. So, and with Sawahi's long legs, he thought he could kind of reach around and just kind of go for it. And Coronado just used his experience there to just shield it, felt the contact, and went down.
Flag stays down. Ball goes into the box, headed away by Seymour. Sent back in. Suggs lets it run. Ricketts is going to chase it down. And Ricketts, no foul called, gets right back up. Here's Martinez. Has that one stuffed by Yearwood. Martinez able to get a cross off, and it's sent out by Seymour. That one's going to go back to Mueller, and now eventually back to Pimentel and Akwe. Seymour again comes in to head that away. Handball is going to be called on Kiesewetter.
I have no idea what that signal by the center referee was there. Some kind of dance move. I think clearly Kiesewetter said something. Both Preston and Kiesewetter feeding off scraps right now. Ball pinged into them. You see the ball just a minute earlier popped out to Preston. Couldn't really bring it under control there, because again, they're just not seeing a whole lot of the ball in areas where they'd want to. Early on in the game, Preston was peeling off into that right channel and was getting some joy down there. That just hasn't happened. And again, going back to those midfield, Sergio Rivas giving away a few fouls, a little frustrated in there. Portillo, haven't really mentioned him on the ball except for set pieces. Christian Nava again struggling to find the game. Need to get those guys in the game if you're New Mexico United.
And that was something that head coach and technical director Zach Prince spoke about following that match against Birmingham Legion. He said we just didn't really have that connection going from our back line into the midfield. And obviously that led to even less opportunities from the midfield to our forwards. And that just seems to be more of the case here today. And I don't know if it's dealing with the absence of Kalen Ryden, whatever the case is, but we're starting to see New Mexico again starting to resort and rely on those long balls. Torres plays this one over. This is Mueller. Cabezas. Cabezas gets it back and goes over for Acque now. There's Torres. Cabezas. It's going to go back to Pimentel.
Yeah, just to re-emphasize that point, so so I don't feel like we're being harsh for no reason whatsoever. Possession stats right now, 64% possession for RGV, and they have almost double the amount of completed passes.
Here's Mueller. Getting ahead, cross going into the box, was looking for Gaviria. Was dealt with by Will Seymour. And we've got another Bank of America corner kick coming up here for RGV.
It's a good little period of the game for RGV here. They're controlling the pace of the game. They're controlling the ball, and really asking some questions right now of I wouldn't say a makeshift back line for New Mexico United, but certainly a not necessarily a recognizable one from previous weeks. And Seymour there, he's having to do a lot of work right now. He's doing a lot of defending, which, as a defender, it's great because it allows you to stay connected and stay, concentrating.
Ball goes
there
in.
he is again. He is winning everything. Like, to be fair, if you're going to...
Going back post, and that one, a massive chance sent wide. It was Cabezas who was able to get a touch at the back post, and he sends it completely across the face of goal. Alex Tambakis letting out a massive sigh of relief.
And that RGV put a ball in the box. They managed to bypass Seymour there, and there's not one, there's two. If I'm right, there's two people wide open. It was Acque as well. Just let it go there. A huge opportunity there, and a huge let-off for New Mexico United.
Juan Cabezas out of Cali, Colombia. Perhaps going to be the best chance that he sees all night. The Colombian spent 9 years with Deportivo Cali, which is a club there in Colombia, in his youth days. Most recently played for Houston Dynamo from 2018 to 2020. He made 21 appearances, scored a goal for the club. He's been in the Dynamo/RGV system since 2017. As the two teams used to have an affiliation, no longer. Played for the club last year, did Cabezas. 19 appearances, scored once. Cabezas plays that back to Acque. Acque, as you mentioned, was the other one at that back post, Chris, and if either one of those guys get another chance at that, they're sticking that in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's the issue, right? If New Mexico United,
right.
One guy gets free, okay, someone's missed it, but the fact that we're two wide open, 4 yards out from the goal line, the Inquisition starts.
Yearwood able to get through. Preston plays this one through and gives it away.
So that's the first time where New Mexico United have been able to get the ball under control into Preston's feet. And he just didn't do enough with it, just turned it over. But that's just because it's been so long since that happened, It was like, oh, I've got the ball, and then it's gone again. But yeah, so that's New Mexico United. They need to probably just calm down a little bit and just establish some possession, establish a little bit of, make RGV run without the ball for a little bit. See if there's any gaps to play through, because right now you can see they're a little eager to go forwards. As you said, the long balls, there's another one, but Preston's got the legs there to get in behind.
Preston wins the corner kick. So it's a Bank of America corner kick coming up once again for New Mexico. Portillo searching for his 4th assist of the season. 38th minute, Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand at the lab. Scoreless so far here tonight. 7th meeting all time between RGV and New Mexico United. This is Justin Portillo, the New Orleans native. Let's see him giving the signals here and ready to send this one in. It's headed away. Looked like it was Cabezas that was able to get up there and put a head on it. Lofted back in, and Garcia, no problem. Goes out to Mueller as RGV look to play through the near side flank. Here's Chelo Martinez. He's in a very free roaming role here for RGV as we've got some more extracurriculars, Chris.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was, I think Martinez felt like Seymour was a little physical there, which he wasn't. It was a good tackle, but then held onto his leg as he was trying to get away. And you can see as Seymour tries to step away, I feel like Martinez just holds onto his leg. And then, I don't know why, Bruce was just trying to protect his teammate there, as was Coronado, so it was all to do about nothing.
Tonight's replay is brought to you by TLC Plumbing. TLC is the leader in New Mexico when it comes to home and business service needs. So throw in here on the near side, right in front of Zach Prince. Now, Zach Prince, one of the questions at his introductory press conference, what's going to be the sideline attire? Because we saw the precedent that was set by Troy Lesane over the first 3 years with the club. So we've got a yellow card issued here.
The question is to who? Whom? Who?
Yes.
Whom?
Not quite sure. We're going to wait to get confirmation on that one. So it's going to be a free kick for New Mexico. It's going to be Portillo taking. So the yellow card issued to RGV defender Robert Coronado. It's listed as a defender on their lineup. Definitely not playing as a defender here today, as he's more on the wing. Coronado goes into the book here in the 41st minute. Yellow cards are brought to you by Wendy's. For every yellow card, New Mexico United fans receive a free breakfast sandwich at participating locations with qualifying purchase. Torres, Abed to Coronado, tries to nutmeg Suahi, has it sent back. Suahi once again. Gaviria goes down. And he's going to hear it from the crowd. So we mentioned the yellow card that was issued earlier to Coronado. Yellow cards, or excuse me, I already said that. The yellow card's brought to you by Wendy's. I had to sneeze and it just totally threw me off my game. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Daniel Bruce. Throws it in here to Alexi Suahi. Finally over to Garcia. Back to Alex Tambakis. He really hasn't done a whole lot here tonight, Chris.
Yeah, for all the possession. I mean, obviously there's the glaring elephant in the room, which is the chance that should have been on target.
Nava tries to play this one forward, gets it back, and then unleashes a shot that's blocked.
I tell you what, that was traveling.
Yeah.
And again, that looked like a frustrated shot after the cross that didn't find its target, and he just thought, I'm just going to go for it. And it was traveling, it really was. But yeah, for all of the possession that RGV have had, like I said, the obvious chance, which is the wide open 4 yards out, that wasn't on target, but they don't have a single shot on target registered yet from 3 shots that they've managed to create, which is, that's, and like I say, there's that one which, that was a bullet dodged if New Mexico United.
Yeah.
That should have been 1-0 if you're RGV.
So following the foul there on Will Seymour, it's another Fiesta Auto Group free kick here for RGV. This is Chelo Martinez, as Torres will walk away from this one. Martinez delivers, headed away by Kiesewetter initially, but the follow-up shot goes wide. It was Coronado. And it's going to be a goal kick here for New Mexico. So into the 45th minute, Chris. Somewhat of an uneventful first half here, as we've been notified there's just going to be 1 minute of New Mexico Piñon coffee stoppage time. Great coffee is a matter of a piñon. But again, a little bit of frustration here. You can see fans starting to get up from their seats, going to the concessions perhaps a little bit early here, as they've now gone a full match and a half without seeing their side score.
Yeah, and going back to the Birmingham Legion game again, we talked 35 minutes, I think it was, right, when the second goal went in, that we expected changes. I'm curious if Zach Prince will go in at halftime, and this time maybe won't. I believe there was 2 subs at halftime. I feel like there's enough in this game if New Mexico United where maybe it's just a harsh word at halftime, maybe a little reorganization, adjust the game plan slightly, and give it 10 minutes into the second half, see if anything changes before starting to ring the changes. Pretty solid at the back. The one chance, other than the one chance, pretty solid at the back. So yeah, maybe might be a little tempted to maybe leave it a little longer than what he was in the last home game. But yeah, I mean, that's certainly a thing that they are, the chances have dried up a little bit. There was that pot shot there by Christian Navarra, which was in frustration. Preston had a shot from distance as well. I'm struggling to think beyond that.
Rivas off the volley.
Rivas volley where, exactly. So, there's a few half chances here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nico Brett sooner rather than later, though.
Well, and again, looking down just at the bench area, nobody warming up yet. Of course, that isn't to say they won't when halftime comes around here in about 10 seconds or so, as New Mexico look to have something cooking here. Daniel Bruce gets it up to Preston, and Preston's first touch just a little too heavy there for Christian Nava. Well, the first 45 in the books. It's halftime. The score is 0-0, presented by First Financial Credit Union. Chris, quickly, your thoughts on that first half?
Very similar to the last home game, unfortunately. So, yeah, changes needed for New Mexico United. RGV probably pretty happy going in at halftime.
We're going to step aside. We'll be back with halftime here in just a couple of minutes.
BIOS has been proudly serving New Mexico. We love being a part of this community and the New Mexico United family, and helping everyone from homeowners to home builders create a space that's both beautiful and practical. Shopping local is about more than getting a great deal. It's about supporting your community, your neighbors, your friends. Visit BIOS in Albuquerque and see how shopping local supports your New Mexico community.
There is a place where there are no roads, no conveyances beyond 2 legs or 4. It's a vast swath of land set aside for adventure, for animals, for nature. We're visitors here in America's first designated wilderness, the Gila.
I'm in the game. You rappers do anything for the fame. Not like you rappers be lame. They do a whole lot of talking, but better disrespectful when all of them speak on my name. You cannot walk in my shoes for a minute. I look in your eyes and see we not the same. Blazing the trail, I be feeling like Dame. I feel like EA cause I'm in the game. You rappers do anything for the fame. Not like you rappers be lame. They do a whole lot of talking, but better disrespectful when all of them speak on my name. You cannot walk in my shoes for a minute. I look in your eyes and see we not the same. I'm on the way to the top, yeah. Dripping, I need me a mop, yeah. I went and caught the Balenci, now I need to pull the charger out the lot, yeah. Lately been praying a lot, yeah. I'm still the thanks up to God, yeah. I cannot help but to turn when I think of all the blessings I got. I'm still a young kid from New Mexico, just trying to make something out of my life. I see too many real ones slipping, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving right.
Welcome back to the lab. It is halftime presented by Smith's. Fresh for everyone. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand as we were supposed to be here 2 weeks ago. This game postponed until tonight. Is a great crowd nonetheless. 45 scoreless minutes so far here between New Mexico and RGV. Plenty to get into here for this halftime, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We've got our standings coming up first. This is a look at the USL Championship Western Conference. San Antonio FC leading the pack, 4 points ahead of Switchbacks, as you see 40 over 36. Loyal in third, Locomotive in fourth. However, they have played 20 games. You see New Mexico hovering just above the playoff line in seventh, although they've only played 15 games, so games in hand on everybody above them, meaning a very good chance for New Mexico to climb the ladder as the season goes on. News and notes here from around the league. Sacramento continuing their 2022 U.S. Open Cup run. They defeated LA Galaxy 2-1 last week. They're going to host Sporting KC in the U.S. Open Cup semis. They're the first USL Championship side to reach the semis since FC Cincinnati's run in 2017. Otherwise here for New Mexico, Kalen Ryden reached his 150th regular season appearance with a match over Monterey Bay on Saturday. Kalen Ryden hitting 150 appearances, not in the side here tonight, so he did not add to that tally. And our last one here, New Mexico United U23 team played their final home game of their inaugural season. They fell 2-1 in Farmington on Saturday as they played all of their home games around the state. It was a truly incredible thing with their first season in League Two. This is our ESPN Plus scoreboard. We've got Riverhounds hosting the Miami FC on Saturday, Hartford hosting Tampa Bay Rowdies. You've got Birmingham Legion traveling to take on Charleston Battery, Detroit City taking on Indy 11. Lots of East Coast matchups here as FC Tulsa going to be doing battle with Atlanta United 2. And then an interconference matchup as Phoenix traveling out to Memphis to take on 901 FC. This is your scoreboard here from the USL Championship so far. Louisville City winning 2-1 over Legion. San Antonio beating Charleston 2-0. And as we saw on Saturday, New Mexico tying with Monterey Bay, with Sergio Rivas scoring in the 41st minute, the equalizer, as Atlanta United drew with El Paso. This is your upcoming schedule for the Black and Yellow. As you see, we're here once again on Saturday. We're going to do it all over again as New Mexico hosting RGV once again. Then they're making the trip out to FC Tulsa for their first matchup of the season. Then we're right back here next Saturday. First matchup between Riverhounds and New Mexico. And then the Black and Yellow making a trip out to the eastern part of the United States, where they're going to travel to take on the newcomers Detroit City and New York Red Bulls 2. This is your team of the week here. You can see got a lot of players here from the Western Conference. You see Guido there from San Diego. You see Milana Lasky as well from OC. And you see Traeger taking home the Player of the Week honors from Atlanta United 2. So that's going to do it for our halftime. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to catch my breath. We'll be back on the other side of this.
I mean, yeah, that's how I'm going today where I'm going to topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What?
Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Swatted away by Miller.
Volley from Aquay. Wow.
What a wonderful team move for Las Vegas. And a goal from Trejo. Spectacular build-up. Alvaro Quezada, good feet. He's found the upper corner.
Welcome back to the lab here. It's halftime. Brought to you by First Financial. 0-0 the score here through the first 45. New Mexico doing battle here with RGV. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst on hand. Chris, this is how the first half is shaken out. Only 4 shots on target, or 4 shots, excuse me, for RGV. None of them on target. 6 shots for New Mexico, 1 on target. But there's that possession number that you touched on in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, 10 shots in the entire first half probably tells the story in itself, and only 1 of those on target for either team. So, yeah, it's been a half of very few opportunities. Possession obviously lopsided towards RGV, and really struggled, while they've controlled maybe the tempo of the game, really struggled to open New Mexico United up.
We've got some halftime highlights to show to you here, presented by Will Ferguson and Associates. We're here for you, and we're here to win. Well, Chris, for a match that only saw 10 shots throughout the whole first half there, this is how it played out. This was Preston getting a shot on goal here, a low dribbler. That was no problem for Garcia.
Yeah, and that was early on in the match when Preston had a little bit of joy, dragging his defender out wide into that right channel for New Mexico United there, and had a couple opportunities to do that. And yeah, a fairly comfortable save, but that's the 1 shot on target for New Mexico United right there.
There, Daniel Bruce tried to play that one in, and then eventually it was Rivas trying to hit that one off the volley, skied it over the crossbar. But that one, you said it during the run of play, perhaps had time to settle that and get a touch before taking the shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I've come back and forth. So there, you can see why he took it early. Obviously, if that goes flying in the back of the net, it's potentially goal of the season. It looks great, so you understand why he took it early. And obviously, as soon as you take a touch, he will be under a tremendous amount of pressure as well. So yeah, but another half opportunity for sure, but that's what it's been. It's been a lot of half opportunities for either team, other than the one which I'm sure we're going to see at some point here.
Yeah, and New Mexico really, really lucking out with that opportunity that you're referencing. I'm sure we're going to see it here in just a moment. This was Chelo Martinez faking, and then it was Jose Torres eventually just sending that one over the crossbar into the curse. You talk about 2 guys that are typically very good on deliveries, but this was the opportunity that we were talking about. Cabezas at the back post, missing everything.
Yeah, and that's the left-footed cross by Coronado into the back post. 2 guys wide open. And Cabezas, like you say, he will want that one back. That should probably be 1-0 to Rio Grande. And yeah, it was a let-off for New Mexico United.
So we're going to go ahead and step aside. We'll be back with the second 45 on the other side of this.
For over 45 years, we have been roofing New Mexico. Even though you may not know it, you have been covered by one of our roofs at some point. Now we're bringing the same high-quality craftsmanship that protects New Mexico's commercial buildings into the residential marketplace. Get a commercial-quality roof on your home today. National Roofing. Local company, national name.
Call 883-3000 or visit nationalroofing.com.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive...
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
as a first-generation college student, I didn't have the guidance needed to navigate through college, but CNM made that easy for me, and they helped me every step of the way. What makes CNM special is that no matter what your interest is in, they're bound to have it here. You're looking for a certificate, and associates, or even some kind of training, they're going to have that flexibility for you. My time at CNM has showed me that I can dream bigger than what I ever thought I could for myself. At CNM, you're not just a student, you're part of the family.
We're back here at the Lab, New Mexico United hosting RGV. Tyler Ortega and Chris Hurst as we get ready for our second half starting here in just a couple of minutes. Chris, we've gone through all of our halftime news and notes, all of that fun stuff. So as we look towards this second half here, so we get a beautiful, beautiful view of this sunset here. Threw me off for just a second. What do you think the team talk was for both sides? And if you're the head coach, what changes are you making?
That is a very, very good question. But first of all, you've been put off a few times today already, huh? Like, you need to get your head in the game, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, right, where RGV, a point on the road in a week that's a really weird travel week, playing New Mexico United twice on the spin here. A tie would not be terrible, and they're probably pretty happy right now. I'd say, it's not really changed a whole lot. Can they take the next opportunity from set pieces? That's really where they've, been dangerous, set pieces, or whether it's the first phase or second phase. And it was the second phase of a set piece that the really good chance came from. So maybe looking for those opportunities. Obviously trying to keep the ball as much as possible, take the altitude, advantage out of the game. And yeah, it's that. And for New Mexico United, it's tempo, and that's with the ball. So New Mexico United, if I would be emphasizing that they need the ball, they need to dictate the tempo a little more and try and pull RGV out of their shape. It's too easy for RGV to be able to stay in their shape. It's too easy for them to be able to keep New Mexico United at arm's length right now.
Well, and looking down at the field during the halftime break there, Chris, we only saw one player warming up for New Mexico. It was Sam Hamilton, the midfielder. Obviously, signs would point to him making an entrance here, perhaps soon for Zach Prince, but maybe that's what you need to get things flowing through that midfield.
Yeah, and this is not me giving myself a pat on the back, but this is very different to the Birmingham Legion game. And I said maybe the talk is, here's the changes we want to see in the second half from Zach Prince. We're going to give it 10 minutes, and if there's no improvement, there's no changes, then we'll start seeing the changes. So I imagine that's really the message that they've come out with of, there needs to be something different, and whether it's just little tweaks or just a tweak in, mentality, basically, the mentality, especially in possession, and see if they can make that change with the players who are already on the pitch. And if not, then I wouldn't be surprised if, 55, 60 minutes, we start seeing maybe Zach Prince going to the bench.
Well, that's Christian Nava there on your screen. He was one of the early substitutions last time we were here at the Lab against Birmingham Legion. Hasn't made too much of an impact here tonight. Could he be the one that's subbed off for Sam Hamilton? We'll wait and see. It's Nava making his 7th start on the season, his 10th appearance overall. He's got 2 assists, and he scored his first professional goal against Phoenix Rising on May 24th. So Rivas in the center circle for the black and yellow, as either side is going to be looking for a go-ahead goal here. It looks like, Chris, you pointed over at the technical area. Sam Hamilton maybe just receiving some final instruction here. Looks like he's going to be coming on at any minute now, and the second half underway. And immediately New Mexico giving the ball away. This is Mueller. Mueller out of East Northport, New York. You can see still 86 degrees here in Albuquerque, so it's a pretty warm evening, humidity around 24%. It has been a few days since we've had some rain here, Chris. But it is monsoon season here in Albuquerque.
It is that time of year where last night me and my family drove through an absolute insane storm for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the city is dry, but yeah. it's crazy when 24% feels muggy to
Right.
New Mexicans. I class myself in that now as well.
Well, and for RGV coming up from, where they're at in the Rio Grande Valley down in Texas, only 60 miles away from the Gulf, this is nothing for them. Like, you call this humid? They probably had to put lotion on before they walked out of the hotel because it's so dry over here. Will Seymour. Seymour's really found a place here in this side for Zach Prince this season in his first year with New Mexico.
I was actually just going to mention that, he's matched up there as a defender. He ticks all the boxes. He's physical. He loves a little 1v1 duel, good in the air, does a lot of things. The one issue is, let's say his distribution, I'd say, is probably not his forte. And that's, I keep going back to the Birmingham Legion game. It was him and Kalen Ryden who saw more of the ball than anyone else on the field. And then tonight, it's been him. And, right after kickoff in the second half there, he sails the ball out of play. That's something that, will be worked on. But end of the day, you want defenders to defend, and he absolutely is a very, very good defender.
Gaviria goes to ground once again. He went to ground late in the first half and was grabbing at, it looked like his left calf. Again, it looks like perhaps a left ankle, but gets up and jogs it off. Interesting. Keep an eye on that as the match continues. Here's Preston, gets a good touch. Preston has 2v1, spreads it, Kiesewetter. And it's going to roll out. Kiesewetter unable to find the back of the net. Looking for his first goal in black and yellow.
What a tackle by Ricketts. Came in from his right back position. Kiesewetter was just lining up the shot, ready for the net to bulge there, and he just comes flying into the tackle. I'm not saying it was a goal-saving tackle, but that was a very, very good chance for a striker of Kiesewetter's caliber.
Kiesewetter doesn't even have a shot to his name on this season for New Mexico. That just changed. So we see one of the RGV players down. It looks like Akwe. It's the trainer out on the pitch. That is Kimberly McCartney, the athletic trainer for RGV. It's Akwe looks to be walking pretty gingerly on that right foot as he gets some assistance from his teammate Jose Torres.
I mean, I think it was collateral damage there with Ricketts' tackle. Ricketts just had to absolutely lay out and, went flying into the tackle again, at least a shot-saving tackle, if not a goal-saving tackle, and Akwe just happened to be in the way. He took everything out there, Ricketts.
Akwe, if you remember that name, United fans, well, it's because he played last year with Loudoun. He played 90 minutes here at the Lab in the 1-0 win for Loudoun United. Of course, that was the game that saw Austin Yearwood get a very early red card. And subsequently, New Mexico losing that day. Akwe in his first season with RGV. As he looks ready to come on. So it goes back to Sawahi. This is Rivas, turns. Pass a little behind for Bruce. Nava has that one poked away just in front of him by Martinez, and now ball bouncing around, RGV in possession. Here's Chelo Martinez. New Mexico back in possession. New Mexico looking for just a little spark, Chris. Here's Suggs. Could this be it? Daniel Bruce now. The Englishman tells Preston to make the run. Back to Portillo. Daniel Bruce. 3 goals last year. He scored once this season. He's got 3 assists on the season as well, which ties him for the team lead with Justin Portillo. Nava able to retain possession there. Links up with his fellow New Mexican, Josh Suggs.
I like this from New Mexico United, though. Much more patient, popping the ball around. The ball was out with Daniel Bruce a while ago, and he was certainly tempted to just sling the ball into the box. But when you look into the 18-yard box and you've got Christian Nava matched up against Akwe, that's not a matchup where you really want to just pump the ball in there. So really patient, pops it back through. Portillo, Nava, Rivas, everyone. All the players that New Mexico United would want involved in a build-up have started touching the ball. So this is much, much better by New Mexico United.
Well, and for New Mexico, you have to find that groove in the midfield, right? You're missing Chris Wehan, which is the ultimate catalyst. We speak on exactly how much Portillo drives this club forward, but we know the creativity that Chris Wehan brings to this club. So I think it's a lot about them figuring it out here in what's now their second straight match without Chris Wehan on the pitch.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, Wehan had just kind of hit a little vein of form as well, being a little bit, by his standards, a little slow start to the season, basically, especially in the goal-scoring shots. But it definitely hit a vein of form. So, there's no discounting the miss that he is.
Gaviria. Tambakis chases that one down. Looked like Ikaza was giving chase to that. Ikaza, he's played here quite a bit over the past couple of seasons. He was with Austin Bold for the first half of last season, then moved over to RGV. So he played here for Bold at the lab and then played here again twice for RGV, back again. As the offside flag is up on Preston Tabordataka. The Cameroonian searching for his second goal on the season. Found the back of the net against El Paso in week 2. Has gone goalless since. Nava gets a touch. He's run off the ball there by Ricketts. Cabezas looking up ahead. Ikaza spreads it out. This is Mueller over on the far side. It's the New Yorker Mueller. Over to Torres. Gringo is his nickname.
It's original.
Another Fiesta Auto Group free kick coming up here as Ikaza draws the foul.
You can see there's some positive signs, though, I'd say, for New Mexico United there. The ball out to Ricketts at right back and Suggs stepping higher in the press than we saw at any point in the first half, which triggered Austin Yearwood to get really tight to Chelo Martinez as well. So, yeah, again, positive signs, I think, for New Mexico United here, and RGV just maybe getting a little bit frustrated.
55th minute yellow card has been issued to Pimentel. Yellow cards brought to you by Wendy's. For every yellow card, New Mexico United fans receive a free breakfast sandwich at participating locations with qualifying purchase. So Pimentel goes into the book here for the first time. You see there why he just had that right arm hooked around Preston Tabordataka. Pimentel, the 32-year-old, spent a lot of time in his youth with Club America. Made his professional debut on July 24th, 2011. It was a 2-1 win against Querétaro. That ball dealt with by Akwe. Pimentel, also no stranger to playing here at the lab, played 90 minutes both times for RGV here last season. Did pick up a yellow card on in the match that occurred on October 9th. Today marks his 139th professional appearance. Nava squeezes through, and Nava has it poked away. That was Cabezas there with the slide challenge.
Christian Nava slowly but surely starting to find a foothold in this game. You can tell when he's confident because his first touch, the ball just never stops. The first touch is into space, immediately puts the defenders on their back foot. Terrifying to defend.
Here's Portillo now. He's got plenty of options. Elects to go for Nava. And Nava never really looked comfortable against Birmingham Legion. The match before that, however, he came on as a sub in the second half against Roots, completely changed the game. So once he gets his confidence, once he feels good, we know the impact that he can have, and so does Zach Prince.
Oh, it's space, and Birmingham Legion just took any space away from him and didn't allow him to get up ahead of steam. And like I say, you can just start to see where now he's starting to drift out of those central areas and finding just enough space to get a first touch. That's positive. And again, once he puts defenders on their heels, he's in control.
And you said Legion did so well defensively. There were times where it felt like they were playing with 15 men down there. Here's Rivas. Finds Sawahi. Born in France, he represents the Comoros national team. Is this through ball just a little too far ahead for Preston Tabordataka to get to, as Ikaza just sends this one forward. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Here's Sergio Rivas, cuts it back on the right foot, gives it up to Nava. Now forward for Preston. Preston tries to cross, and it's stuffed, falls for Kiesewetter. Here's Kiesewetter now. Picked up by Mueller. Kiesewetter back to Preston. Here's Preston. Advantage played, and Preston gives the ball away.
It's interesting. You did see the centre ref gesticulate that it was an advantage, and it immediately gave the ball away, and therefore you would imagine the advantage was over. But again, that was not going on the same point. Again, though, much better by New Mexico, and you can tell because we can see there's two players for RGV stand up on the sideline. They're about to make their first substitutions, and Sam Hamilton, who looked certain to be coming on very early in the second half, is still waiting to be introduced.
So we've got word of both subs that are going to be making their way onto the pitch here at the next dead ball. We'll get to that in just a moment as Coronado has that one poked away. Akwe. Now we're going to see the first two subs of the night. So the two players entering the match, we're going to have two forwards, Ricky Ruiz and Adolfo Hernandez. They're going to replace Robert Coronado and Frank Gaviria. Coronado picked up a yellow card earlier in this match, so perhaps a liability there. Also returning to the lineup here tonight.
It's interesting. It looks like it's just a like-for-like change. Two forwards off, two back on. So no, at least initially, no obvious change in terms of shape, which I say it just felt like the last 3-4 minutes, the game was maybe starting to, there's ebb and flows to games all the time, but it seemed like it was definitely starting to go New Mexico United's way. And like I say, we see, obviously the RGV staff have seen the same, deciding to inject a little more, some fresh legs and a little more pace there.
Martinez lays this one off. That's Ruiz, the sub that just checked in. Was subbed off in the last match was Ruiz. Mueller chases this one down, picked up by Sawahi. Goes back to Ruiz. And is that poked away by Christian Nava. Seymour working in some space, does well, but then gives the ball away. Martinez tries to play that one across the top of the box, and it's sent away. Here's Pimentel. Nava, big interception. And Kiesewetter in space. Kiesewetter takes a touch, and Garcia able to pounce on it. And perhaps he thought he had a little more time than he actually did. And Kiesewetter still searching for his first goal in black and yellow.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there. He was just waiting for the ball to drop on his right foot, and you could just see the space was just closing and closing. Great ball by Preston to find it. And he just didn't sense that. Is it Ricketts there? I think, yes. Another time Ricketts has come in off his blind side and prevented a clean shot on goal there.
Well, there, and you see it the entire way on the replay. The entire time, Kiesewetter is looking to his right, watching the ball come in, and as you said, Ricketts just coming in from the left on his blind spot, never even sees him. Never sees him. And now this is Javi Garcia, who's down for RGV. Tyler Derrick, the substitute on the bench for the Toros, the backup keeper, so we can see him stood up over at the technical area. Garcia getting some work done there as the trainer out once again. So we take one more look at this, and there you can see as Ricketts just falls into Garcia. Again, replays brought to you by TLC Plumbing. And Garcia looks to be okay as we're back to the action. Martinez deflects that one. It's going to fall back for Cello. Poked back, Ricketts. And Martinez immediately grabbed for his ankle. He looks to be all right, though, as play continues. Kiesewetter goes to ground, and now the German going to be called for the foul. Free kick taken quickly. Here's Ruiz, cuts it back. Ruiz once again spreads it. This is Mueller now. Mueller cross, goes back post. Rivas able to get a foot on it. Preston goes down, and looks like play is going to be stopped. A foul is going to be called. So we're going to see another substitution here for Wilmer Cabrera's RGV side. Luka Malisevic will be entering the match as he's going to replace Stefan Mueller. Substitutions brought to you by REDW CPAs and advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. You can hear the New Mexico United fans starting to sing in full voice, trying to inspire their team here. 65 minutes gone by. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here. It's been scoreless so far here at the lab. So, Chris, if you're a New Mexico United fan, you have to go all the way back to May 7th when we were here against San Diego Loyal. In the 95th minute, it was Harry Swartz scoring to equalize. That was the last time New Mexico United scored a goal here at the lab. May 7th.
It's a great date, by the way.
Why?
It was my birthday.
Oh, yeah. We did wish you a happy birthday for that. That's right. That's right. My point being, New Mexico, they've played a full match and then 65 minutes of this one without scoring a goal, and there's Preston looking to break that cold streak, but no issue there for Garcia. Now that stat may be a little skewed because there was one match that was rescheduled and it was played across the street at UNM against a depleted Phoenix team, we'll call it what it was, where New Mexico won by a touchdown. It was 7-0. But again, that game was not played here at the lab, so New Mexico looking to find the back of the net here in these grounds for the first time in nearly 2 calendar months. Here's Bruce. Pokes it forward. Preston offside. And for Preston, that very well may be the final action that he sees tonight, as New Mexico will be making their first substitution of the evening.
It's interesting because I feel like Preston's looked pretty bright, especially in the second half. Like there, he definitely went a step early as soon as the ball was played. I immediately looked at the AR to see if he caught it, and unfortunately for New Mexico United, he did. But earlier on, winning that free kick in the middle of the park, he had to be brave. He knew he was going to get clobbered in there, and he's just been a little more lively in the second half. So it's interesting. However, the chances have been falling to Kiesewetter, so maybe that's the thinking behind that change.
Well, and replacing Preston Tabordataka is Nico Brett, the Jamaican. Nico Brett leading New Mexico in goals scored this season. He's got 5 USL Championship goals in 14 league games this season. If you want to factor in all competitions, make that 6 goals as he scored in the U.S. Open Cup match against Phoenix Rising. Kiesewetter goes to ground, no foul. Kiesewetter will do his best to convince the official otherwise. He's not going to get the call as this ball played long. Looking for Hernandez there. Yearwood goes back to Seymour. Austin Yearwood making his 6th start on this season as he's dealt with injuries. Yearwood was the 2021 New Mexico United Defensive Player of the Year, and that's an award that's voted on by his teammates. So to win that award over Kalen Ryden obviously speaks volumes. And unfortunately for Yearwood, fortunately but unfortunately, he's dealt with some injuries, but he's back now.
Yeah, he was Mr. Consistent last year, I'd say. But you missed while you look down at your fountain of knowledge that you have in front of you there. You missed Swahi. He got put into a little bit of trouble there by Seymour. By the way, Seymour, again, defensively so strong back there. Looks like he's picked up a little knock, though, which is a worry. He just sat down there. I think he just got caught a little late on his ankle as he was clearing the ball. But played Swahi into a little bit of trouble. And Swahi managed to get himself out of it. But talk about extracurriculars, Suggs was very, very irate about something that came flying in. This is always fun when there's another game in 4 days' time, right?
And we've got a yellow card. It looks like Ikaza picked one up there. I'm sure we're going to see Suggs pick one up as well. As looked like he came up and was defending his teammate. From what I could tell, it looked like Ikaza got in Nava's face, and that's where Suggs took exception. So let's have a look here at this replay as things got very hairy very quickly. So the initial foul there on Christian Nava.
Looks like Martinez had a little kick out while he was on the ground. That's certainly what Nava is implying there, which he did. You could see as he went down, he left his studs up. So maybe a little lucky, Chelo Martinez, that the officials didn't see that as he was going down.
Yeah, and immediately you could see Christian Nava try to plead his case and motioning that Chelo Martinez kicked out. And that's when Ikaza came in as well, and Suggs took exception to that. So, yeah, it is what it is. You like to see that if you're New Mexico. Suggs, the captain, standing up for the younger players here. Any player on his team, really.
But you talked about earlier about a spark. Maybe this is the spark that both teams kind of, a little fire in the belly where both teams, it kind of lights a fire in them.
So yellow card there. You can see Josh Suggs picked one up. We also saw Ikaza and Christian Nava. So 3 yellow cards handed out there.
Nava can count himself very unlucky there if he did get a yellow card, because all he was doing was essentially describing exactly what happened.
So after all of that, it's going to be a Fiesta Auto Group free kick here for RGV. 70 minutes gone by, scoreless here at the lab.
Seymour's had to step off there because, as we spoke about earlier, he did pick up a knock and the trainer had to come on and see to him. So defending a free kick with your centre-back out of position right now.
And Seymour tried to come back on, and then immediately play was stopped. Our official tonight, Kevin Stott. Our assistant referees on either side, we've got Chris Canales and Jay Norris. And our fourth official is Christian Campo Hernandez. Malisevich plays this one in. Bicycle kick from Hernandez, and he skies that one well over the crossbar. Looking for the incredible there was Hernandez. And, I mean, for what it's worth, from what we've seen tonight, it may take something like that to be the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, I mean, and why not, right? It's especially in the second half, RGV have found it really hard to break down the New Mexico United defense. A lot of that is down to Seymour back there. He's marshalling back there. Swahi, Austin Yearwood, pretty solid. Pretty solid. So it might take something special, like you say, but that was ambitious.
So second substitution here on the night for Zach Prince in New Mexico United. Sam Hamilton will replace Christian Nava.
I like that sub because just picked up a yellow card, and you can tell that this game is probably one tackle away from going south pretty quick, and calm heads, more experienced heads like Sam Hamilton, obviously one of the leadership group, you know. I like that sub, protecting the young player that is Christian Nava. I like that sub as well, and I was just watching Christian Nava as he went to the bench after being subbed off, and immediately there was 4 players that were going through warm-ups. They all stopped immediately what they were doing. They came over, gave him a hug, gave him a handshake, let him know he did good tonight. You love to see that. And he's certainly more impactful, you know, later in the first half and the start of the second half. It's been much better from him. That is Christian Nava there, alongside fellow substitute Preston Taborataka. It's Christian Nava, the first New Mexico United Academy product to come up through the system and debut for the first team, scores first professional goal. Took home the MVP at the USL Academy tournament last season as well. Made his 10th appearance on the season here tonight. Off the free kick, that one headed away by Yearwood. It's really important. A very, very good header by Austin Yearwood there. Ruiz. This is Torres now. Torres cuts this one across, near side. Cabezas tries to chase it down. He does. Or he does not, actually. And it's going to be a goal kick here for Tambakis. Here's Bruce. A little bit of an ole there from the Englishman. Draws the foul, and visible frustration is a yellow card shown to Ricky Ruiz. '75th minute. I think it was Torres. Oh, no, it was Ruiz. Sorry. Ruiz, you can see, just cuts Bruce off mid-stride. And Ruiz, the substitute, goes into the book. Just lovely little drop of the shoulder there by Bruce. Ruiz obviously thought that he was going to just knock it back to Swahi there, and then just took 2 players out without touching the ball. And got into a little free space, and as we know, that's what Daniel Bruce likes to do. Once he gets in open space and he's able to run with the ball. Speaking of open space, here comes Chelo Martinez. Goes back post, heavy touch. And New Mexico can breathe easily. Here comes Daniel Bruce. Looking to play a ball forward for Nico Brett. Garcia comes out to deal with it. Game just opening up for a second there, a little back and forth. Right on cue, the game stops. We've got more subs coming in here for RGV. Looks like we're going to see Juan Pablo Torres checking in as he replaces Chelo Martinez. And we're also going to see Dylan Brochak enter the match. Didn't quite catch who he is going to be replacing, so we'll hold just a moment to see. That's actually going to be Jose Torres. So one Torres comes on, the other goes off as the Veterans Night is done. Of course, substitutions brought to you by RADW CPAs and advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. And we have now received official word on tonight's match attendance. Chris, we were expecting about 9,000 here tonight. Of course, the black and yellow faithful
doing us better than that. 9,774 on hand here tonight. On a Wednesday night, a reschedule. It's Juneteenth here tonight. A delayed celebration is New Mexico United planned these celebrations. You can see the curse wearing all black down in the supporters section here tonight as well. But again, New Mexico showing why they lead the league in attendance, as they did in 2019. No home games in 2020, had restricted capacity in the 2021, but the lab back to 100%, and New Mexico back on top of the attendance charts. Well, last time we were here, Chris, it was the highest attended USL Championship match of the season. Here's Kiesewetter. It's that one straight into Akwe, and unfortunately for Akwe, I think he's going to be down for a second.
No magic sponge required for that one. Kiesewetter, though, it looked like it was a little awkward. Little awkward the way his standing leg was when he struck that ball there. This is a little bit of a concern, though. He seems like he's in a lot of pain.
We get another look at this TLC replay. See Kiesewetter. It looked like Akwe might have come through and maybe got a touch on him when he blocked the clearance.
He reached immediately for his knee, which is what, that's why I was a little concerned about it. But I thought it was his standing leg, and it doesn't look like it now. It looks like it's actually his left so he's kicking leg, yeah. And
you can see he just made the motion. It looked like on his follow-through after he kicked it with the left, it looked like when Akwe came in to block it, he may have gotten a piece of Kiesewetter. And that maybe is what's causing the stoppage here. Is Kiesewetter, you can see he's visibly in pain.
He's not happy.
So it's another Bank of America corner kick here. As we get another look at this. That was Kiesewetter's chance earlier. He's had a couple of really good opportunities, Chris. As we're back underway here off the corner kick delivery as Sawahi gets ahead on the set piece, but sends it wide. And Akwe, he too is walking pretty gingerly following that challenge. But unfortunately for RGV, they've exhausted all their substitutes.
Which is that's what they benefited from in the last game, I think you said, right? Yeah. At El Paso. So he'll be forced to try and soldier on here and see if he can continue. But yeah, he's certainly not moving freely. If I was a centre forward for New Mexico United, with anyone who knows me knows that I never played centre forward, but I'd be trying to get in a, maybe peel off onto Akwe and see how bad that injury really is.
Well, and if you look down at the pitch right now, you see Nico Brett is matched up on Pimentel and Kiesewetter is matched up on Akwe as this cross goes into the box from Brocek and it misses everybody. Ball goes long. Here's Kiesewetter. And Kiesewetter is taken out. Foul is going to be called.
That was another heavy challenge there. Kiesewetter is going to know he played a lot of minutes today. He's going to feel this one in the morning.
And that yellow card is going to be issued to number 20, Jonathan Ricketts. Here in the 80th minute. So by my count, we've seen 6 yellow cards here tonight. Of course, yellow cards brought to you by Wendy's. Off the restart. Here's Portillo. Haven't said Portillo's name a whole lot here in this second half.
RGV still waiting to register their first shot on target, which is amazing, but kind of showing how different this second half is. As you can see, New Mexico United keeping the ball a lot better, and it's been noticeable. Possession stats were obviously very lopsided. It was at 64%, I believe, in the first half for RGV. It's back now pretty much 50-50, so New Mexico United definitely had the lion's share in the second half with almost 60%.
Here's Bruce, sliding challenge. As that was Malisevich that went to ground. No foul was called. Goes back to Bruce. Header won there by Brochek. Goes back to Tambakis. You were talking about New Mexico defensively here today, and for as incredible as that is, really shouldn't come as any surprise. This side for Zach Prince, they've only conceded 13 goals this season.
Yeah, I mean, the stingiest
defense
in the entire USL, and it's not by accident. And look, the players who've just slotted in tonight. I mean, Seymour's played a lot of minutes, maybe not as the central linchpin within that, but Sawahi stepped in, hasn't missed a beat either tonight as well. Really impressive defensive display, and again, Seymour every time. Not trying to give him the kiss of the death here or the commentator's curse, but has been very, very solid at the center of that back three.
Nico Brett plays this forward, and Kiesewetter goes down, and that's a penalty. 83rd minute, New Mexico is going to step to the spot with a chance to go ahead.
Kiesewetter, it was a missed touch. I think he actually missed the ball, but did so well to just kind of get his body in the way, and it was awkward. It was awkward. I can see why RGV is not very happy right now. If it was the other way around, I'm sure New Mexico United would be upset as well. But there was definitely contact there. It was, like I say, it was clumsy. It was a clumsy tackle in the 18-yard box, and they gave the referee a decision to make, and he's made the decision.
Justin Portillo will step to the spot here for the black and yellow. He's already converted from the penalty spot this season. RGV winless here at the Lab in 3 prior attempts. They drew in 2019, lost and drew last season. This is Justin Portillo stepping up. And Portillo goes low, and New Mexico takes the lead. Justin Portillo with his 5th goal of the season, and the Lab has exploded. New Mexico take the lead here in the 84th minute.
How cool under pressure. I'm sure it was not lost on Justin Portillo how important that PK will be. Everyone knows how long it's been since they scored, and sends the goalkeeper Garcia the wrong way, just passes it into the back of the net.
Goals are brought to you by Enterprise Builders, built on a foundation of trust for over 30 years. And you speak about trust, Chris. Justin Portillo has now been Zach Prince's trusted man at the penalty spot.
Yeah, and there was a discussion. I think Nico Brett wanted the PK, and Suggs, the captain, well, then, obviously laid down the law of, this is who takes them. And, I mean, yeah, like I said, was there any doubt? It was just so cool and so collected, and like I say, with all the pressure, the curse just trying to suck the ball into the net as well, right behind the goal. Yeah, great PK.
So the 5th goal of the season for Justin Portillo. That ties him with Nico Brett for the team lead.
It was almost immediately every single member of the New Mexico United coaching staff, as we have another look there, just sends them the wrong way and just passes it into the bottom corner, so calm. But every single member of the New Mexico United coaching staff, as the players were running back to their half, screaming instructions. Everyone knows, great time to score, and just, make sure that they hang on to this lead. But dangerous free kick here for RGV.
So during that penalty call, we saw Akwe was also issued a yellow card. As this ball goes in off the set piece, and hunting that one down is Austin Yearwood. Ruiz is on it, and what a challenge there from Kiesewetter, and he's fired up. And what a win this would be for New Mexico if they're able to hang on, Chris. As this ball falls, and a moment of trouble here. Tambakis having to go one-on-one, but the flag is up on the near side for offside, and almost looked real dangerous there.
There was a heart-in-mouth moment. There was Seymour. Was it Ruiz? No, Hernandez. Hernandez just gets the wrong side of Seymour there. And Tambakis a little slow off his line there as well. Sort of just dropped in the space between them, but like you say, offside flag up, but there was certainly collective holding of breath within the stadium there.
Ball goes long. That's Akwe. Now Ricketts. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Talking about being able to hear some USL Championship action on Sirius XM. Our buddies that are sitting here in the booth right next to us, Adam Deal, Andy Hageman, they do the commentary on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team. They routinely get picked up for those ESPN or for those Sirius XM FC broadcasts. So if you're not able to tune into Chris and I here on ESPN Plus, make sure to check that out. It's a great option. Here's Akwe. 88th minute. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand as New Mexico looking to win their first game at the Lab here since, I believe, April. It's Cabezas.
March, wasn't it? First game of the season.
First game of the season. That is the only win here at the Lab for New Mexico this season. As we mentioned, there was the rescheduled Phoenix match that was played across the street at the University of New Mexico. A depleted Phoenix team in which New Mexico won 7-0. But again, that game not played here. Yeah, March 13th against Las Vegas Lights. It's the last time New Mexico won here at the Lab. 89th minute here. It's the first of two matches against RGV this week. So we're going to be right back here doing it all over again Saturday night. And Saturday, that one's going to be a lot of fun, Chris. It's Somos Unidos Foundation night, so there's going to be a lot of programming around that. You and I, we've been having some fun with broadcasts this season where we've been getting some, the United Faithful send us in some words and we'll slip it into the broadcast.
I don't know what you're talking about. I say those words all the time.
Yeah. What did you slide in there? The kerfuffle last game? Skullduggery. Big thanks to some of the United Faithful for suggesting those. But with it being Somos Unidos Foundation night on Saturday, of course, be on the lookout for us to do something similar to that. As we are right here in the midst of this season, New Mexico, this is their 16th game of the campaign as they have games on hand on every Western Conference opponent as they are above the playoff line with 15 games played. Foul is going to be called. So here we are, 90th minute. That's Ruiz on the ground. And so we've now been alerted that there will be 6 minutes of New Mexico Piñon Coffee stoppage time. Great coffee is a matter of opinion.
2 years we've been doing this again, and that still makes me smile.
So there it is from our fourth official. 6 minutes of stoppage. RGV looking for an equalizer. Here comes the free kick. Headed away initially by New Mexico. There's Bruce. And there's Portillo now. RGV able to play this one back. It's Ricketts. And Sawahi will drive that one back towards midfield. Ricketts once again chased down. And no foul. That was Sawahi getting in there.
Came flying in, Sawahi. And Icon, from our vantage point, let's put it down to that. But obviously there's not many arguments from the RGV players who were a lot closer as well. So I'm assuming it was a fair tackle. But he had to get that one right. It was The free kick immediately before that, I believe it was Kiesewetter who fouled, and it just looked like a very, very a tired tackle, you know. So New Mexico United are going to be hanging on a little bit here the last 5 minutes, I imagine.
Akwe gets a head on it. Borchak now headed forward. Here's Hernandez. Looks to scoop it. Headed away by Yearwood. That one goes off Suggs. Hamilton goes to ground. No foul. Cross goes back into the box, and it's Alex Tambakis. The outstretched arms of the Greek goalkeeper keeping New Mexico ahead.
That was brilliant goalkeeping by Tambakis, using all his experience there. He could tell back post, it was a little bit of a mismatch in terms of size. Used his frame, used all his experience, takes all the pressure off his defenders, knowing that he'll just command his 6-yard box. Great goalkeeping there by the experienced Greek.
Tambakis looking to wrap up his 4th clean sheet of the season. This ball goes into the box, and it goes to Tambakis once again. Looks like we may be seeing one more sub here for New Mexico before full time. As we're seeing Rashid Tete over at the technical area. This ball goes out. It's going to be a corner kick here for RGV. We will see this final substitution. Zach Prince does get it in before the corner. So it's going to be Rashid Tete coming on to replace Jerome Kiesewetter. So for Tete, making his 13th appearance on the season, 11 of them have been starts. Leads the team with 28 interceptions. So talk about bringing in some defensive help here. Kiesewetter not in a hurry to get off the pitch.
No, it's an interesting one as well, because you try not to sub when you're defending set pieces like this, you know, because the organisation, now Rashid Tete has to get on the field quickly and be organised immediately. Whoever Kiesewetter's man was has to get there and be ready to defend immediately. So a little bit of a risk.
Bank of America corner kick here. Into the 4th of 6 allotted stoppage time minutes. Corner goes in, and it goes right into the hands of Alex Tambakis. Tambakis will send this one long. Nico Brett gets a touch. Tambakis won the club's Newcomer of the Year award last season. Also won the Save of the Month award for USL Championship in July. And he was a second team All USL Championship selection in 2019 as well. So it's a free kick coming up here for RGV. More work to be done for New Mexico.
That was a needless foul there by Daniel Bruce, and looked across immediately at the bench, and Zach Prince was going absolutely nuts over there.
Cross goes in, back post. And it looks to still be in play as one of the RGV players went to ground. So another Bank of America corner kick. Time still ticking here in stoppage. Cross goes in, headed out. That was Rivas. Dealt with the trouble there. Hamilton wins the header. Borchak now plays the cross in. Sawahi sends that one away. Still 30 seconds remaining of the allotted 6 minutes. We might even see a little bit more additional time due to the Kiesewetter substitution. This Ruiz plays it back to Malisevic. And Malisevic hits that one very hard. Ball played forward. Can Yearwood win the foot race? And he does. It's going to be a goal kick for New Mexico.
I don't know if you saw the assistant referee over there. He was flagging for a foul. I assume it was in favor of New Mexico United, but yeah, there was a little gasp again there. I would love to see a stat on how many headers the back three for New Mexico United have won today. They stood up, every man back there, and just kept winning and just kept knocking back everything that was thrown at them.
And that's the full-time whistle here at the Lab. New Mexico victorious at home for the first time in 43 days as they defeat RGV 1-0. It's Justin Portillo converting from the penalty spot to send the black and yellow ahead in the 84th minute. Chris, before we go to break, real quick, let's get to our play of the match. It was Justin Portillo's goal from the penalty spot, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Justin Portillo, also our man of the match, brought to you by Pepsi, as he scored his 5th goal of this season there in the 83rd minute from the penalty spot. Alex Tambakis is your save of the match winner, brought to you by Invigorate Roofing. As we're still going through, as we said, Portillo had a man of the match performance, but Chris, just want to get your take on tonight's match real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's some honourable mentions there, obviously, you know, to Portillo getting man of the match there. I think Seymour, centre-back, any of the back three, Tambakis, clean sheet, where RGV, especially towards the end of the game where they got desperate, threw everything they could and the kitchen sink at that back line.
4th clean sheet of the season for Alex Tambakis. We're going to step aside. We'll be back to wrap things up here in just a moment.
Game time.
From day one, REDW has been an integral partner and one of the first companies to say yes to the crazy idea of this soccer team that we all love. Because of REDW's belief, support, and expert financial guidance, United is in a better place today. Their focus on community-first initiatives is perfectly aligned with United's ethos. When they say integrity counts, they mean it. And we are forever grateful and thrilled to be partnered with REDW.
Welcome back here to the Lab. Tonight's Duke City Cares final scores: New Mexico 1, RGV 0. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here on hand. And Chris, New Mexico scoring from the penalty spot, Justin Portillo. Big win, much needed win for New Mexico, it felt like.
Right there, yeah, much needed win with the loss and the tie. Talking about bouncing back from losing the winning streak. Great win. They don't really care, I'd say, you know, how it comes about. Obviously the PK, it's not a goal from open play, but based on the run of play, especially in the second half, I think it was a deserved win.
We've got some highlights and some stats to get to here tonight. As you can see, the players getting ready to do their run-up and celebrate with the curse. This was a hard-fought victory, their first of 2 matches on the week against RGV. Let's go ahead and jump into our full-time highlights here tonight, brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates. Well, Chris, there was 10 shots in the first half. Things livened up in the second. This is how things started here in New Mexico with some early opportunities, some half chances, we'll call them.
Yeah, half chances. There were few and far between. It was really a really scrappy game. RGV would say probably they had the better of it, especially in terms of possession in the first half, but struggled. Other than this was the glaring chance. This will be the chance that they go back to, where really should have been 1-0 RGV at the end of the first half. But other than that, you know, moving into the second half, they really struggled to open up New Mexico United, and the chances kept falling to Kiesewetter. His touch was kind of a little letting him down. Ricketts did a really good job 2 times in a row to sniff out that danger. That was him again, just coming through the back there. And eventually the ball fell to Kiesewetter inside the 18-yard box, and he managed to draw the PK.
Preston, he had a few opportunities here today. He was eventually substituted off as Nico Brett came on to replace him. But this was the difference maker. Is Malisevic, I'm not sure what he's doing. I've seen this replay a couple of times, just goes straight through the back of Kiesewetter, and there you see Portillo tucking it away.
Yeah, I mean, a great PK, but the tackle, you can see Kiesewetter tries to bring the ball under control, and it just evades him, but does a really good job of reacting and just gets his body in the way. And yeah, Milosevic there just goes steaming through the back and not knowing where he is inside the 18-yard box. And yeah, it was just a needless tackle, really. And, you know, a few hairy moments towards the end of the game for New Mexico United, but as I said, special mention to that back three. Suahi, Seymour and Austin Yearwood, absolute monsters back there tonight for New Mexico United, and Tambakis as well with the clean sheet.
Well, and you said it yourself there, as the stats tell the story as well. 5 shots for RGV. 4 of those came in the first half. They only had 1 shot the second half, none of them on frame. So there you said it, the back three was massive for New Mexico here tonight. The black and yellow able to make up some of that possession in the second half. But look at these yellow card numbers, 6 yellows issued to RGV tonight.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is they get to do it all again in 4 days' time. And there was
Portillo
certainly some love lost tonight, let's say. And it'll be interesting to see if any of that carries over into the game on Saturday.
So we'll be back right here on Saturday, same time, same place, same teams for that matter. RGV, New Mexico at 7 p.m. this coming Saturday on the 9th. It's Somos Unidos Foundation night as RGV failed to win at the Lab once again. They're winless in their 4 trips here, losing twice, drawing twice. They'll look to break that streak on Saturday. So that's going to do it for everybody here tonight. There you can see Tambakis and Suahi exchanging, getting some photos in there with the crowd. So that's going to do it for everybody here tonight. Our director, Gary Williams, Chris Hurst on color. My name's Tyler Ortega. We'll see you again on Saturday.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.